direction, reflection, and drive. And to get us really started, Commencement's all about you all. It's a celebration of your time, your experience. And so what better way to get that going than to hear from one of your very own, right? So I'd like to bring to the podium one of your fellow interns, Mr. Alec Slaney. Alec, give Alec a round of applause. I'm going to say a few words about him. Alec is in the Politics and Public Policy professional track, and his lead instructor is Sam LeBeau. Originally from Oregon, he majors in legal studies at the University of Washington, Seattle. This semester, Alec interned for the office of Senator Mark Kirk. So one more time, let's invite Alec to the podium. Alec?
I'm short, hold on. Mic check. Awesome. Hello and good afternoon, fellow TWCers. It's with great pleasure that I stand before you today. 15 weeks ago, each and every one of us was thrust into the churning heart and seat of the United States government here in Washington, D.C. I have a story to tell, and I have a feeling some of you may find it familiar. When I arrived here in D.C. from a small town in Oregon, I found myself completely out of place. Hungry and exhausted, I stepped off the plane and into the terminal wearing a blue t-shirt and white basketball shorts, dragging literally about 70 pounds of luggage behind me. All around me, a sea of black suits materialized, all seeming to know exactly where they were going and why. I felt like a broken cog, stuck and unmoving while everyone chugged along. Not sure I remember what I imagined arriving in DC for the first time would be like, but I definitely wasn't expecting to feel like a tourist lost in my own country. Somehow, I managed to find my way out of the airport into a hotel, and I spent that first DC afternoon getting lost in a surreal and unfamiliar city. Upon reaching the Washington Monument, I wondered how many before me had previously stood there in awe. So, in true millennial fashion, I pulled out my iPhone, took a selfie, sent it to my dad, and proudly declared I'm actually standing next to the Washington Monument. In true baby boomer fashion, he sent back, "K." I returned to the hotel sunburned and weary that evening. With nothing to do, I sat on the bed and reflected. For the first time in my life, I had seen the White House, the United States Capitol, and just about every Smithsonian building known to man with my own eyes. The thoughts started rolling in. All my closest friends were over 2,600 miles away, 3 time zones behind me. How would I even start getting to know new people? How should I introduce myself? What do I tell them I'm here for? As I fell asleep that night, doubt began taking over. It was here that the out-of-placeness that I had felt in the airport returned with a vengeance, a feeling of pure isolation. But morning came, and when it did, I wasted no time getting repacked and ready for my first true day in Washington. Luckily, the RAF wasn't too far away, 1.5 miles, just a brief 25-minute walk. No biggie, I've hiked 20-mile trails, who needs a taxi? So on that hot, disgustingly humid summer day, I set out for my destination and shortly afterward questioned my logic. By the time I got to the RAF 40 minutes later, with my 70 pounds of luggage, it probably looked like I had just hiked out from work on that day. The first question I got from someone outside was, "How did you get here?" I laughed and nonchalantly replied, "I walked." They smiled and started laughing with me. I couldn't have imagined a better first encounter. My roommates became my first and best friends in DC. Days later, I found myself waging $3 trillion in Jeopardy and singing American Pie with them in this very auditorium. Thanksgiving rolled around, and I had Tyler and Alan. And together, we created a glorious feast consisting of takeout wings, rotisserie chicken, and homemade pumpkin pie. But Tyler, sugar goes in pie. Week after week, I kept meeting more and more amazing people from all over the world. From California to Illinois to Belgium, Pakistan, Puerto Rico, and many more. Together, we took DC by storm, visiting memorials, museums, embassies, you name it. Together, we took part in a global festival, sharing each other's cultures through food and dance, and discovered that a lot of us have a lot more in common than we really think. And together we stood in solidarity with aggrieved students across the nation and even held a candlelight vigil for the many deaths resulting from the Beirut and Paris attacks, among many others. I could not have predicted that 15 weeks ago, my closest friends would not be 2,600 miles away, but just a few doors down. The initial feelings of isolation and worry I had felt upon arriving in DC had been completely vanquished by feelings of acceptance. Thank you for the privilege of letting me be in your community. No amount of money, no amount of reading, and no amount of anecdotes will ever substitute for what we've built together in the last 15 weeks. In a time where it's perfectly acceptable to floor the gas pedal through college, get your degree, and find a job, you've all chosen to go above and beyond what is required. This community we've built will continue to survive long after we depart. We now join an even bigger community of TWC alum, and bigger yet, our global community. Experience transforms isn't just a soundbite. It isn't something used to convince you to come work for virtually nothing, far from what you consider familiar, from all your family and friends. It's the simplest way to convey the action that occurs as a result of what we have all gained: experience. Stories usually come to an end. If our arrival here in DC was the beginning of our story, then today it must be over. I'm here to tell you that is not the case. Yes, today and tomorrow, most, if not all of us, will be in places that aren't Washington, DC. The reason our story is not over, however, is because of what we have all created here this fall: a global community, bound tight through brother and sisterhood, an absurd amount of intelligence and skill, and a burning desire to change the world. You've all proven by coming here to DC that you're in pursuit of something, and pursuit of that something that you have deemed to be of utmost importance. So as you pack your bags and say your goodbyes, please do one thing for me. Do not end that pursuit on this day. I ask that you wake up tomorrow and begin the pursuit once again, with the same eager fury that allowed this community to thrive in your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor to be in your company for these last 15 weeks. And no doubt, the stories you will create from here on out will only get better as the weeks march on. Thank you.
Thank you, Alec. Let's do another round of applause for Alec. That was great. Before I invite our next speaker to the podium, one small quick housekeeping item. We are streaming commencement today for all of our external audiences, as well as families and things like that. So if you should be called by nature to leave the room, please close the doors very quietly behind you. Thank you. All right, without further ado, let's continue our celebration by inviting our very own president, Mr. Mike Smith, to the podium.
Thanks, Kevin. Congratulations, everyone. My comments will be very brief, and I want to share a quick story with you about people. Yesterday, I was in New York. I'd been invited with 50 other presidents of nonprofit organizations from around the country to a breakfast meeting with the chairman and CEO of Southwest Airlines. Anyone here fly Southwest? Okay. They're known for their culture and for their people. And he had a very interesting comment about his people, as he called them. He said, "We want to hire people with a warrior spirit, a servant's heart, and a fun attitude." He said, if we hire people with the right attitude, then we can train them to do whatever we need them to do. And it reminded me of a story that an alum had told me a while ago, where he mentioned that in his first week at his internship, he really lacked confidence. He was not sure whether he could handle the work. He was a little bit intimidated by the people surrounding him, and he really had serious questions about whether he had made the right choice. I ended up speaking to that student at graduation, at commencement, where you are here today, and he really had been transformed. And I know that's a buzzword, transformational experiences, but time and again, our 52,000 alumni who have gone before you have told me and my colleagues on the staff how the experience transformed them. And I think there's a reason for that. Part of it is Washington and a feeling that a place where so much public policy is debated, formulated, sometimes implemented, sometimes not, gives every one of you and every one of us a clearer sense of how democracy works than perhaps we get from our hometown, for me, small little Norwich, Connecticut. I think the second thing that allows this experience to be set apart a little bit is the idea that you are here for more than yourself. Everyone in this room wants to start a good career, get a good job, start paying off college loans, live on your own instead of with your parents. I mean, these are all admirable goals. But I think the fact that so many of you came to us with a background either in service learning, volunteering in your communities, being involved in the Greek system, whatever it was, shows that you are interested in far more than just yourself. And I commend you for that. I believe that you've been exposed to leadership. You see the value of public service and how important it is. You've gotten a leg up on your peers who remained on campus because you now have something on your resume that is substantial and that you can speak about. You can talk to people at interviews about. And so you're advantaged, and that's the place you want to be, advantaged. Lastly, I would say that commencement usually connotes the end of something. This is the end of your term. When you graduated from high school, you had a commencement. You'll have a commencement for your undergraduate experience. But really, when you're commencing to do something, you're starting. And right now, you're starting the rest of your life post-Washington Center. I encourage you to take the skill set you've learned, the knowledge you've gained, the understanding you have now that you didn't have 15 weeks ago, and use it for good purpose. Get that good career, get that good job. Also give back to your community. If you will, you'll find that you're a holistic person, you'll be a happier person, and you'll be a more successful person. And you'll be the kind of person that people like me want to hire. So I congratulate you. I wish you all the best in the future. I'm proud that you're now Washington Center alumni, and we'll look forward to the rest of the program. Kevin, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. We move now to the intern award section of our celebration, and that's truly what it's about. It's about recognizing and celebrating each of you. Throughout the semester, you've had the opportunity to recognize each other for demonstrations of qualities not limited to, but including leadership and professional growth. Each of the nominees was evaluated based on interviews with the selection committee, feedback from their peers and staff, as well as their performance in their academic, professional, and community life aspects of the Washington Center program. So to get us started, we're going to begin with the very first award, which is the Academic Excellence Award. The Academic Excellence Award is given for offering thoughtful contributions during programming and or their evening course. I'd like to invite to the podium to stand with me while I say a few words, Ms. Inaru Melendez-Vasquez. You have a fan base, right? It's totally fine. It's wonderful, wonderful. All right, let me say a few words about Inaru. Inaru's major is public relations and advertising with a political science minor at the University of Puerto Rico. Her lead instructor is Irene Rivera. Her professional track is, of course, the Cordova y Frenos program. Her internship site was with Congresswoman Elizabeth Warren. Here's what her nominating faculty member had to say about her, Robert St. George. Inaru currently is an A+ student in my class, campaigning for a cause. Her work displays an extraordinary level of understanding of the workings of civil society. She has demonstrated high-level analytical, writing, and presentational abilities, particularly impressive for a person working in English as a second language. Please give me a round of applause for Inaru. Our second intern award is the Civic Engagement Award. The Civic Engagement Award is given for demonstrating a commitment to efforts with civic engagement or public policy dialogues. I'd like to invite to stand with me at the podium, Tom Somrak. Tom is an animal science and biology plus political science major at the University of Findlay. His lead instructor is Aaron Hood. His professional track is politics and public policy. As an internship site was at National Farmers Union Foundation. He was nominated for this award by his roommate, Sharif Abdullah. Sorry, Sharif. I should have asked for that one before I started. Tom has been involved in civic engagement throughout the semester, volunteering multiple Saturdays at Campus Kitchen, DC, where he made food for the homeless. He also gave blood at the Washington Center Blood Drive, and in partnership with Dr. Jenna Dell and other students, attended a conference called Civic Innovation and Action. Tom also volunteered a Saturday night serving food and cleaning up for Army veterans and their families on the eve of the Army Red and Blue race, of which the extra food ended up feeding the dorm for a week. And by dorm, we mean residence hall. Tom is an individual who is clearly engaged in the community around him, and I'm more than proud to nominate him for this award. So let's raise our hands to Tom.
Congratulations. You got it back. Thank you very much. Very well. Congratulations.
Thank you. Our third award this afternoon is the Emerging Leadership Award. The Emerging Leadership Award is given to an individual who has fostered positive academic and professional development of their peers through mentorship and leading by example. At this time, I'd like to invite to the podium Hannah Mays. Hannah is a political science major at, here we go, Karolinska University Leuven. Did I get close? Not at all, right? Her lead instructor is Kathleen Regan. Her professional track is politics and public policy. And here is what, and she was interning at the American Association of Colleges for Teacher Education. Her nominations are from her peer, Jailu Lu. I promise I usually practice. And the TWC staff also noted her tendency to share insights with others and strive for excellence in everything she does. She has demonstrated a good understanding of how the different parts of the Washington Center's program have helped her to develop. In addition, as a Belgian, she has been able to offer a European perspective with her classmates in her evening course. So for the Emerging Leadership Award, Ms. Hannah Mays. Our next award this afternoon is the Global Citizenship Award. The Global Citizenship Award is given to an individual for honoring diversity by fostering community among a diverse TWC population. At this time, I'd like to invite to the podium Barrett Goodwin. Congratulations, Barrett. Thank you, sir. Barrett is a politics major at Hendrix College. His lead instructor is Samuel LeBeau. His professional track was politics and public policy. and he interned at the Democratic National Committee. The nomination is from one of his roommates. Barrett has excelled in meeting people far different from him. Having lived in Arkansas his entire life, Barrett has not traveled much. He has been using every chance he can get to explore new cultures and meet people of various backgrounds. Almost every day, he comes back to the apartment and tells me about this person he met from so-and-so country, etc. He also has been going beyond his own comfort zone to try foods from different origins. Anything Arkansas lacks, Barrett is making up for by experiencing it here in Washington, D.C. So our Global Citizenship Award goes to Barrett. Congratulations, Barrett. Our next award is the Innovation Award. The Innovation Award is given to an individual for approaching academic or professional challenges as learning opportunities and developing creative solutions. At this time, I'd like to invite to the podium Saxby Rose McAllister. Saxby is a third-year graduate student in music marketing from Gibraltar. Her lead instructor is Erin Hood. Her professional track is Advocacy, Service, and Arts. And her internship site was the Association of Performing Arts Presenters. Her nominations are from her classmates and the TWC staff have mentioned her noteworthy efforts with the pitch competition as part of the evening course From Ideas to Action, the Anatomy of Entrepreneurship. In addition, Saxby's work with the RFK Human Rights Center's photo exhibit has laid the foundation for that program to succeed more in the future. Congratulations, Saxby. Our sixth and final internship award goes for the category of professional growth. Professional growth is given to an individual who has strived for and shown progress in working on professional development throughout the semester. I'd like to invite to the podium Jean-Yi Yu. Jean-Yi studies economics at Yonsei University. Her lead instructor is Avi Crichton. Her professional track is Prudential Foundation Global Citizens Program, and her internship site was with the Office of Senator Dianne Feinstein. The nominations for Jean-Yi came from her roommate and from the TBC staff, and noted that her progress in navigating her internship successfully while maturely handling any challenges that came her way were really impressive. She was able to use her semester to develop and work towards concrete professional goals while thinking about how to pay it forward for future interns. So a round of applause for a Professional Growth Award. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Let's do another round of applause for all of our intern awards. I'd also like to thank everyone who nominated each other and the staff who took time to really go through the nominations and to really be a part of the students' lives this semester. It's great to be able to celebrate at the end and see what type of growth and development has changed and happened over the semester. Now at this time, I'd like to invite to the podium our own Christian Holm.
Thanks, guys. How is everyone? Good to see you. My name is Christian Holm. I work with CWC's Alumni Engagement Team, and I have the privilege of introducing our alumni speaker in just a moment. But before I do, I wanted to welcome all of you to the alumni community and go over some things that you have to look forward to in your upcoming alumni experience. You're joining an alumni community that is, as our president said, 52,000 members strong. But what you're also joining is an alumni community that has leaders in every industry across the board. leaders in politics, law, advocacy, financial services, you name it, we have alums in those industries, and they're here to be a resource for you, and you will be joining that community. We have a number of things that we think you could utilize to take some steps and stay connected with this alumni community. And the first step would be to connect with us on our social channels. We are active on, of course, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, but I especially encourage you to join our alumni Facebook page, as well as our alumni LinkedIn community. This is an excellent resource that you can use to connect with alums from around the globe. Just starting a conversation in our alumni community is a great way to answer a professional question. If you're new to a city and you're looking to connect with some people, if you're looking for professional advice, maybe possible informational interviews or career opportunities, just starting a conversation in our LinkedIn group has led to jobs and opportunities. It's helped me, and I see it work every semester where we have alums reach out to fellow alums and create great opportunities, professional development, as well as great just advocacy opportunities and a number of things that people take advantage of all the time. So I really encourage you to stay connected with us. We also are always here in our alumni department. If you have any questions, you can email us at alumni@twc.edu, as well as visit us on our website. We have an abundance of information there, and we are here as a resource for you, and we would be glad to help you for the remainder of your alumni experience. So now I have the privilege of introducing our alumni speaker, Mr. Jackson Tuff. Jackson is a 1998 alum, a graduate of the University of New Hampshire and American University School of Law. Interned in 1998 with the DC Corporation Council. He is now today one of America's leading corporate litigators. Let's give it up for Mr. Jackson Tuff.
Thanks, Christian. You said one of, I think it's the leading, but we'll leave it at that, okay? So if I call Inaru up here, will I get the same standing ovation that she had when she was called up? I didn't quite get that. So 17 years ago, I actually sat where you're all sitting. 17 years ago. I can tell you at that time, I didn't worry about the top lighting as I kind of do now. So if you see me looking up, it's to hide other things. But at that time, I sat much like you here at a commencement speech. And do you know who my speaker was? Neither do I. I have no idea who spoke in my graduation 17 years ago. And chances are 17 years from now, when you are mid-30s and I'm mid-50s, you will not know that I spoke here today. But I want to pass along a few thoughts that I've learned along the way. What I do remember from that speaker, who I have no idea who it was, said two important things. And I'm going to mention it quickly because you've heard a lot about these two things, I'm sure. The first is relationships. Now, I don't use the word networking. I use the word relationships. You know, people say you have to network and network and network, but it's kind of disingenuous if you just go into things networking, like, what can you do for me? I want to meet you, so maybe you can help me. It's about relationship building. And the speaker that year said, you know, it's like plants. You know, if you don't water plants and give them sunlight and nurture them, the relationship will die, the plant will die. And so, as Christian mentioned, we're all part of this alumni family. But if you're not active in it, if you're not proactive in nurturing the relationships that you all have built here, those relationships will die. But if you nurture them, they will serve you well, and you will help serve others well. I can tell you, when I was here in 1998, there was no social media. There was no LinkedIn or Twitter. Email was just coming on board. And cell phones were for the few people, and I can tell you, from New Hampshire, I didn't have one. And so it was harder to stay in touch, but we still did it. We still did it through the antiquated email. We still did it through, if you can imagine this, writing letters, 99 and 2000, like, here's what I did. Here's some pictures I printed off from Kodak and at the store. And so for you all, you have this amazing opportunity to stay in touch with everyone in here. And I have no doubt all of you will be leaders in different fields. And you can all help each other, and you can all help the alumni family. So I encourage you to stay proactive and nurture these relationships. The second thing is mentoring. I can't stress enough how important it is to have good mentors. I still have a mentor. I'm a partner at a law firm. I still have mentors who give me guidance daily. And for all of you, seek out mentors. If you see someone in a field that you think you want to go into, ask them, hey, can you have lunch? Can you have some coffee? Just want to pick your brain. I remember I spoke on a panel here, I think it was a year ago, maybe less. I have 4 boys at home, so time runs together. But 2 gentlemen came up to me afterwards and asked me about the law. And I said, well, why don't you give me a call? We'll get together. And I thought, you know, if history holds, they won't call. It's happened before. But sure enough, one of them did. And so the gentleman and his friend and I went out to lunch. I took him to the Mayflower. We had lunch. We had a nice time. We talked about the law, my career path. It's not for everyone, but they were interested. So I wanted to take some time and speak with them. Now, those are the 2 points that were given to me 17 years ago. Here's my points to you. So first of all, I was very excited to be asked to speak here today. Kristen Simonetti Hansen now asked me to speak, followed up by Danielle Artist, who's right there, and Linda Cotton. And I was very happy to do that. And then this week, actually, my social media presence blew up. I had 4 tweets about me speaking here today. It was amazing. I think 3 of them were for the UNH Intern Twitter handle. So maybe it doesn't count. But I was looking on Twitter, and I thought it was pretty neat. So I went to one, I think her name is Annie Guari. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, okay? But I went to your Twitter feed, and you actually tweeted on Monday when you went to the Supreme Court. And you said, spent my morning watching oral arguments at the Supreme Court, and I don't think I've ever been so excited. And I thought, you know what? That's what the TWC experience is all about. You have your internship, you're in a professional setting, and you're learning, but you're also taking advantage of what DC offers. And Annie did just that, and I have no doubt most of you have done something like that all year long. I can tell you when I was here the summer of '98, I think it was the summer of Monica Lewinsky and the blue dress and all kinds of interesting things. And so we were going down to the courthouse to see that unfold. And it was a really neat thing to do because I came from a small town in New Hampshire. So you don't get that experience anywhere else but DC. And that's certainly what TWC offers. But I thought back to my experience here at TWC when I was flying back yesterday from Chicago. We had an argument at the 7th Circuit for a case involving the Big Caesars bankruptcy case. And I was thinking, you know, what was it about that summer that really stuck with me? And I remember we lived in the Virginian. It was in Arlington. So we didn't have this great facility here. I mean, phenomenal facility. We lived in the Virginian. It was a hotel sort of in Arlington, but it was right near Iwo Jima. And so there were many nights, and I hope there wasn't a curfew because we were out pretty late, but we would go there 10, 11, 12 at night, my friends and I, and we would sit there and we'd look out over that beautiful view. If you've been over there, you know, there's benches, you can see the river, you can see the Washington Monument, you can see the Jefferson, Lincoln. It's phenomenal. It's what, you know, Alec was talking about earlier. And so we used to sit there and say, you know, we want to change the world. And I'm not being cliche. We were saying that, but we were meaning we want to make a positive difference in whatever we did. You know, would it be great if one of us became a governor at 30 or a senator or invented Facebook? It would have been awesome to invent Facebook. But none of us did that, but we thought, let's make a positive change in the world. And so I thought about that on my flight here, and I want to kind of just walk through real quick what I've done and bring it home for you guys here because you have a unique opportunity. So I went back to UNH after this great experience. And I said, you know what, I think I'd like to be a lawyer because I would intern at the Corporation Council, had a great mentor who talked to me about legal concepts and legal issues and let me go to the Superior Court and watch the AUSAs, the Assistant U.S. Attorneys, do their thing. I thought that's really special and I want to do that. And so I took the LSAT, I came down to DC and went to American University because I love DC that much. I also love student debt. So I came down to DC and I went to American. And while I was at American, I met my wife, which was fantastic because we have 4 boys now, although maybe that's not always fantastic, but it's great. And so I was commissioned in the U.S. Navy JAG Corps, and I knew I wanted to serve my country. And I remember back to change the world. Okay, well, let's start by serving my country. So I was commissioned in the JAG Corps, and then the Navy stationed me in D.C. And so I thought, how can I make a difference as a little, you know, 03 lieutenant in the Navy? Well, they assigned me as a defense counsel. So I was defending sailors and Marines accused of violating the Uniform Code of Military Justice. I had many interesting court-martials, concluding with a Navy petty officer accused of killing her 57-day-old baby boy. And I thought, well, she's entitled to representation, robust representation, because she was charged with a non-capital felony, which, if convicted, that means she goes to the brig with no possibility of parole. And so we spent a year and a half trying to figure out what happened. The hard thing was she had confessed to it. She had confessed after 7 hours of interrogation by NCIS that she killed her kid. And we had a handwritten confession that we had to overcome. But we put on a vigorous defense. I was lead military counsel, and we had a 4-week trial, and we gave her the best defense we could. And I thought, I want to make a difference here. After that case, they moved me on to represent sailors and Marines and Coast Guard who had been disabled, who had been injured while working either CONUS in the United States or OCONUS outside the United States. And I grew up in a family where my dad had lost his leg and some other issues in Vietnam, and we received disability benefits. And so I saw the importance of this and how it affected my family. And so for 18 months, I dedicated myself to representing these men and women who had been injured to get a certain disability rating that I knew would help materially impact their family. Again, trying to make a positive difference. After that tour, I left and went to private practice because my wife is an attorney and a darn good one, and had a great job. So I jumped ship, pun intended. And I went to a law firm in DC, and I thought, how can I make a difference here? Well, we represent companies, and we do really great work representing companies and individuals with complex legal issues. But we also do pro bono work. And I had the good fortune of representing some homeless military folks who needed an upgrade in their discharge to get certain benefits. And I was able to spend some time doing that. And then I got a unique opportunity to represent a family in Fairfax who had a treehouse built for their 2 children. But the county said it violates zoning regulations, you got to take it down. And we said, well, wait a minute, it's a treehouse. Let's be real. So we were able to save the treehouse for about 60 months while their kids grew up. Because when you're 17, let's face it, you don't need a treehouse. It might be nice to have a treehouse, but you don't need a treehouse. So we saved that. And when I look back, when I was flying yesterday, I thought, what have I done? Have I made a positive impact? Have I changed the world? And I thought, you know what? I think I did change the world. I think I made a positive impact, because when I had that 4-week trial, yeah, she confessed to it, but we got an acquittal. I probably had 200 military service members who got higher disability ratings because I put the time in to make sure that they deserved whatever help they could get from DOD. And in terms of the private law practice, it's hard in private law practice. We don't sell a product, we sell our time. It takes a long time to do certain things. So you spend extra time doing pro bono work, and you need to make a positive impact. So you have to do that extra step. You may sleep 4 hours a night or 5 hours a night. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but you may do it to do other things. And that's how you can make a positive difference. Whether you go into a profession of a teacher or a firefighter or a policeman or in the military or a lawyer or a doctor, you have a choice. Am I going to make a positive difference, or am I going to make a negative difference? You could be a police officer and you think it's protect and serve, but if you put a gun to a kid's head for no reason, you're making a negative impact on the world, okay? If you're a teacher, but you're shortchanging your students because you don't want to put the time in, or you're yelling at them and you're doing things like that, you're not making a positive impact. You're making a negative impact. And the same with attorneys. If you're not spending time using tools in your toolbox to make a positive difference, you're just wasting opportunities. The last thing I'll leave you with is this. So 3 years after sitting where you were sitting, my dad passed away from cancer. And I thought, you know what? That stunk. That was unfortunate. He didn't see me graduate from law school. He didn't see me be in the JAG Corps. He didn't see me try cases. And so reflecting on that yesterday, flying back here, I thought, okay, it takes a lot of work to be successful and make a positive difference. Put that time in. You all have the tools to be extremely successful and make a positive difference. But don't forget, make sure you're present in your life, okay? And you spend time with those who matter most, whether it's your parents, your grandparents, your friends. You're going to work hard. I can tell you, I missed dinners. I missed birthdays and vacations because you're working hard and you're trying to do positive things. But when you do have the downtime, make sure you're present with those that matter most, and I think it'll serve you well. So I wish you all the best. Welcome to the alumni family, and have a good graduation.
Excellent advice. We have another award that we would like to present now, and this is similar to our intern award, but this is our internship supervisor award. And so each of you this semester has had the opportunity to nominate your supervisors at your internship sites. And then a panel of TWC staff and folks went through a rigorous process of determining who our internship supervisor award would be bestowed upon. We do this based on the Internship Bill of Rights. And so many of you know that Internship Bill of Rights has 10 different categories within it. And so we ask you as interns to really think about how your internship supervisor has captured one of those categories or more than one of those categories and really done a great job in that area for you with your time with them this semester. And so it gives me great pleasure to bring to the podium first the student who nominated her supervisor, Miss Shannon Donovan. And I would like to introduce the supervisor, and then I'm going to ask Shannon to say a few words about her. So our internship supervisor of the semester is Miss Grace Rivera. Grace is a 2009 alum of the Washington Center. So not only is she our internship supervisor award recipient, she's also an alum. So she's been where you guys have been. She is a special agent at the United States Marshal Service. So Grace, would you join us, please?
I nominated Grace for this award because she's been nothing but helpful with this whole internship program. She tells me and my fellow interns that to get a good start on looking for jobs and to set goals of what to do next in our career. She's always encouraging us to pursue our career in law enforcement or even the Marshal Service. She tells us that even though if we apply and we don't get our dream job first, then that's okay. And to set our goals high and to keep working hard. She hears us out and lets us know what she thinks is best. We look up to Grace because she is a strong marshal and also personally one of my role models. So thank you, Grace.
Well, first and foremost, I definitely want to congratulate you guys because I know the 15 weeks are long, especially if you get here and you don't really know anything coming from a different area. Most of you, especially if you intern with the Marshals or if you're in the LCJ program, already have met me before, so I'm not going to say anything crazy. The biggest thing I want to say is thank you, Shannon, for nominating me. And it's definitely an honor considering not only was it my first year being nominated, it also was the first time to get selected for something like this. So the biggest thing I will say to you guys, and the only thing I'm going to leave you with, because I agree with a lot of the things that Jackson said, and same with the experience that Alec went through coming here and not being able to know where to start, how it ends. Definitely stay in contact with one another, as well as be able to use us now that you guys are also alums. And lastly, one thing that resonated with me that someone told me was that success is determined by desire. It's not determined by desire. It's determined by your discipline. So stay disciplined in everything that you want to do, because at the end of the day, it will occur and it will happen if you put the desire in it. You can want it all you want, but if you don't follow through with it, you're not going to be able to get it because no one's going to just give it to you. So that's the biggest thing I say. Best of luck, safe travels, and take care.
Wonderful. Shannon, congratulations. Let's give Grace another round of applause. All right, as we move into our closing portion of the ceremony, it's always to me very important to have our students be represented. And so I would like to invite another student to the podium. I would like to invite to the podium Vinicius Gonzalez of the Prudential Foundation. As you all know, Vinicius is with the Prudential Foundation Global Citizens Program, and his lead instructor is Avi Crowdy. Originally from Brazil, he majors in public administration and economics with international relations as a minor at Sao Paulo Business School. This semester, Vinicius interned for the Democratic National Committee. Vinicius, please come forward.
Hello. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for your introduction, and thank you for you all for being here. Good afternoon, or for you all, or y'all, if you prefer the southern way of saying it. First, I would like to congratulate you all for the amazing experiences that you all had during this semester. I'm extremely honored to be here to talk to you. Today, I'm very happy and very sad at the same time. I'm very happy to know I'll be able to meet my friends and family back home again, to know I'll be able to sleep in my comfy bed again instead of my bed at rest. And also to know that I'll be able to eat real food instead of frozen fruit or frustrated attempts to make Brazilian food by myself. But today, I'm also very sad to know that's coming to an end. To know that I'll be far from many of the great friends I made here. To know that I'll be far from this vibrant and pleasant city that's Washington, D.C. And to know that I won't have the same incredible opportunities to grow professionally and personally every single week. This experience here was special mainly because of what I learned during the semester. The first thing I learned is that my roommates don't come from Arkansas, but from Arkansas. I learned that Gibraltarians have a very classy British accent. As you can see, I just can't imitate. And also, I learned how American football works, although I still can't understand why Americans prefer a game in which players throw themselves against each other and use an oval ball instead of a round ball, which is actually played with the feet. But the most important thing I learned during this semester is to be a global citizen. The first thing I was asked in my interview for the Washington Center is what I understood to be a global citizen. Although at the time I gave a good enough answer to be here now, I just had an abstract idea of what it is to be a global citizen. But now, after these almost 4 months of talking, having fun, and working with people from all over the world, I really had the chance to feel in person what it is to be a global citizen. First, to be global citizens, we have to change the way we think, expanding our perspectives. We have to work together and value our differences. We have to talk and work with people who think differently than us, who know things we don't know, who have lived experiences we have not lived. In my course, whose name is so long that's not even worth saying it now, we discussed many policy issues, and one of the aspects which made the course richer was talking with people with various different perspectives and that come from different places. Students from states as different as Pennsylvania and Texas, students from Puerto Rico, from Mexico, from China, from Brazil, and people with different political positions. Liberals, moderates, and conservatives made the discussions much richer. In spite of being a Democrat, it was great to listen to Republicans on a number of issues, because they made me look at problems from different angles, and that way have a more comprehensive understanding of the problems and to think about better solutions to them. Second, being a global citizen involves changing the way we feel, measuring our well-being, our success in a different way. Not only by what we have, but how our actions affect other people's lives. Contributing can be a very fulfilling sentiment, especially if we expand our perspectives. If we think in terms of us instead of I, if we measure our well-being and our success, not by how much money we make, by how many likes on Facebook we receive, but how we can contribute to help other people's lives, we can have a more fulfilling and happy life, while at the same time contribute to a cause that's larger than ourselves. I've had the chance to feel this fulfillment this semester during my volunteer activity, working as a tutor for an English as a second language class. I remember one Tuesday when I was really tired from work. What I wanted to do most when I saw my clock at 6 was to go home and sleep. While still deciding whether to go home or to go to school, I first missed my transfer point to the yellow line in the metro. Then, when I finally got to the yellow line, I went to the wrong direction. When I finally heard the voice saying, "Welcome to the Commonwealth of Virginia," while I had to go to Columbia Heights, I was sure it wasn't my day. In spite of that, I decided to go to class anyway. That day, I had the chance to sit with a student from El Salvador who was struggling with his English. While helping him little by little to improve his English, I felt a strong sense of satisfaction. His progress in improving his English really renovated me, made me feel really energized in spite of the bad day I had before. And it made me feel very energized because I felt as part of his growth that in the future can open doors to him to the amazing opportunities that this city of Washington, D.C. has to offer. Third and most important, being a global citizen involves changing the way we act, finding our own ways of contributing to society. Each one of us has different skills, different values, different preferences. So each one of us has to find our own ways of contributing to society, aligned with our passions and talents. We can contribute by creating a social enterprise that solves public problems or at the same time makes profits, or by giving time or money to organizations that improve other people's lives, or by helping public policies to be designed or improved by working at the government or participating in the political process as a citizen or an elected official, or in any other way that fits well to you. During my internship at the Democratic National Committee, I've seen that politics is really messy, slow, and sometimes corrupt, as Bill Clinton attests by saying that House of Cards is 99% real, except for the 1%, that it is impossible to pass an education reform so quickly. In spite of that, working in politics is the way I found I can contribute most to society, as I can use my knowledge, skills, and motivation to improve the lives of many, many people. I've also seen friends who found their own ways of contributing to society, like my friends from Guanajuato in Mexico, who are trying to create an organization to solve social problems in their state. Or one friend from Japan who's applying for master's degrees in international development to improve the lives of people in different countries. Or one friend from India who wants to start her own business in her country by coming up with innovative ideas to meet needs of her country and at the same time serve as an inspiration for future entrepreneurs. With so many possibilities of contributing to society, each one of us can find a way that drives us to take action. Although we are very different in many aspects, each one of us has different life stories, has different aspirations for our lives. One commonality among all of us is that we are very lucky people. We were lucky to have people who have helped us along the way, as parents, teachers, leaders, who have inspired us and created the conditions for us to follow our dreams, to succeed. We all have merit to be here, but I am also sure that there are millions of young people who would love to have similar opportunities like the ones we had here, and work as hard as us, like the student who I tutor at the English as a second language class, but did not have the luck that we had to receive the support to access great opportunities like the one we had this semester. Or even worse, do not even imagine having an opportunity like the one we had here. So we should take action to spread our luck forward so we can be the agents of change to make it possible for more people to have greater experiences as the one we had here. In summary, I suggest that each one of us act as global citizens, changing the way we think, feel, and act, expanding our perspectives, and finding ways to contribute to society by giving the best of our talents to both improve other people's lives and also to have a more fulfilling life for ourselves. As Mahatma Gandhi put it, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinicius. As we move into our final few moments of commencement, I have a couple of announcements for you and then a very special video that we'd like to share with you. That's a farewell video. Much like Alec mentioned at the beginning of the program, you have all written your stories throughout this semester. Some of those stories were shared here today, and we appreciate you all who shared those with us. But we know there are countless more that should not go untold. We would like to invite you to share those with us about how you were transformed this semester, and do so at what's behind me? Today's not my day for speaking. We look forward to reading about those and sharing their experiences with future interns and with stakeholders who appreciate and support what we do here at the Washington Center. After this, we want you all to continue celebrating by joining us in the lounge for cake. Always exciting, right? in addition to the cake, there are thank you stations that are staggered throughout the P1 level. There are many people here who have impacted your experience this semester, whether that be your staff, whether that be your instructors, your faculty, whether it be the maintenance team, whether it be the front desk staff, whoever it might be, your internship supervisors. So please take a moment if you have a thank you that you would like to give, do so, and we will make sure that those get delivered to the appropriate people, okay? If you have notes for your peers, however, give them to each other now because you guys are all leaving. So, I know, sadness, right? Last but not least, before we move to our fellow video, we also certainly appreciate you all making continual impacts on the Washington Center experience. So later this evening, you will also see a survey from our student services team that speaks to you about your housing experiences, student life, those types of things. So we'd love to hear more on that. So we continue doing great things for future interns. All right, to officially close out commencement, we have a video to share with you that was created by one of your peers, Rija Khan, from the Business and Global Trade Professional Track, and Daniel UK from the Media and Communications Professional Track. So I'm going to ask Michelle now to get us going.
Hi guys, my name is Rija Khan and I'm from Pakistan. Today I'm going to show you my journey with the Washington Center. With over 500 students from across the globe, it has provided us a very rich experience full of diversity and professionalism. So what are you waiting for? Let's go!
I'm myself in the city, near Piccadilly, don't really know. I got killed, I got some pictures on my phone, new names and numbers that I don't know. I guess you places I be rotate twice tonight, and I text them whenever we want. Young enough to say,
The Washington Center is truly valuable for me because it gave me a perspective and an insight that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. It's a great program that provides students an opportunity of an internship away from home. It makes them feel independent and self-reliant. And it's a great feeling, trust me.
The Washington Center has been an amazing experience for this semester and had the opportunity to volunteer time so we can engagement. The SNLS component has been extremely informative as it's given me greater insight into some of the issues.
The Washington Center, first of all, and experience my career, but also what I really wanted to do.
The Washington Center has really given me and everyone else from what I can see such a great experience, such a wonderful, unique opportunity, really a privilege as a student.
The Washington Center has been an unbelievably amazing experience. I've loved my internship from every single aspect of it. It's affirmed for me exactly what I wanted to do with my life, and I had the opportunity to work it out before I even graduated college.
The Washington Center is really brought from my perspective of how the world works and how the entire nation works. And the world is much bigger than my home state of Massachusetts.
The Washington Center has been a great experience for me because I can be in coach with our professional life, which is amazing.
It's been really great for me because I've never lived on my own before, and so this was a whole new brand new experience.
You get people from like all over the world that are coming to this program, from Pakistan, India, Japan, all over the world. These like people I would have never met otherwise.
I made great friends, really from all over the world. I love dancing, as you all know. They developed what I wanted to be in my life.
Beyond even just the internship, the amount of people that I've gotten to meet here from all areas and all different walks of life in different countries has been instrumental in expanding my perspective to a more global perspective.
Overall, my internship has been fantastic. I had a great supervisor, and I've met a lot of people through this internship.
Everyone always talks about diversity, but it's really so true and so prevalent, and it really just shapes the way the world has to be, and like we are ready to go out there.
I would definitely recommend this program.
I would definitely recommend Washington Center to anyone who would ask me.
Thank you, Washington Center.
Washington Center has been extremely valuable. I think that it's one of the most fulfilling experiences of my life. I love my internship. It's a refugee center, and I find that's very heartwarming to help others, and that I've grown not only professionally, but as a human being here. I wouldn't have it any other way.
On behalf of the Washington Center, I want to thank you all for a fantastic semester and to say to you, congratulations. You are now officially commenced. Enjoy.